Yeah, I know I look a bit old for 13, but I'm 13, and yeah, I started to have my first interest in storytelling when I was about this small, like when I was 6 to 7. Yeah, because I like to watch Disney movies like Lion King and yeah, that stuff. So I started to take an interest in storytelling.
Asperger Syndrome is a lifelong neurodevelopmental disorder that's on the continuum of disorders called autistic spectrum.
Dhivaan will take an idea and just go forward with it. We did a Picasso painting of himself, a self-portrait, and he was able to follow the directions of the class using complementary colors and outlining heavily in black, but then added his own interpretation to it. And he actually won an award for that piece in a festival that we have locally.
In 1944, a Viennese pediatrician, Hans Asperger, noted that there were 4 children in his practice that were eccentric. They lacked social empathy, they were clumsy, but they were very bright. And his curiosity was piqued about these kinds of presentations. Some people think because he saw some of his own characteristics in those patients. He wrote a paper about it, and then his clinic was bombed by Allied bombs during World War II, so nothing more came of it until 1991, when a British psychiatrist, Lorna Wing, brought his paper to the attention of the medical community. It became part of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual in 1994, so it's really a very new diagnosis.
What is your name?
Dhivaan Salig,
And where are you at?
Palm Beach Film School,
And what are you here for?
to learn how to be a movie director.
We're going to shoot a film called, we're in pre-production for a film called Gender Difference, which he apparently got A+. Not bad. I'm going to have to go get my coffee. In the meantime, you get ready to be a director, okay? Shades on, hat on backwards, look like a director.
You guys. Do I get to keep this hat?
I don't think so.
Dhivaan was born in Durban on the 24th of July 1998. Vasanta developed high blood pressure during the pregnancy and the latter stages, and Dhivaan didn't grow as normal. to the extent that we had to do an emergency cesarean section, and he was 1.4 kilograms, so just over 3 pounds. And he immediately developed a pulmonary hemorrhage, and that was uncontrollable bleeding into the lungs. He spent a little over 3 weeks in the intensive care unit and battled every day, and the pediatricians were amazed at his fighting spirit and will to survive.
Hey, this is Dhivaan's first day of class, and would you like to say anything to the folks?
Not really.
Now, children with Asperger's have to be explicitly taught the social rules that many of us just intuitively come to understand. You know, sometimes they have to be taught how to provide appropriate eye contact, how to respect boundaries of personal space. They may get too close to a person or not want somebody in their personal space. Oftentimes, they can easily learn social kinds of rules, but they may have difficulty actually using them in the moment.
Okay, so what happens in the story?
They get everything is normal.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it. So the beginning of the film, what? So they're just normal, everyday married couple, right?
Yes.
And then what happens?
Camera is your friend today.
Yeah.
You're going to look back in this one day.
A student like Dhivaan, who's very willing to try new things, he has an idea, expresses it. Rarely I put in my 2 cents, and give him a little bit of direction. He seems to work really well with peers.
It's still a little bright to me, so I put another neutral density on there.
Can I see?
Yeah, look.
No.
Look in there.
The students with Asperger's are totally individual. It's not only a syndrome that you can address directly with these parameters, but each individual child has specific needs, and they are different from the next child with Asperger's.
We'd put him into a school when he was about 3.5, and one of the teachers noticed that he couldn't cut properly with the scissors with his left hand. He was left-handed, and she said we should take him to a psychologist to just get him evaluated, and which we did. And then she kind of just said, after her psychological evaluation, she said, Dhivaan presents with traits of autism. She then suggested that we go to a developmental pediatrician, which we did, and the pediatrician said he's Asperger's.
What?
But you're not a dog. But I'm a Great Dane in my blood.
How do you think of this stuff?
So both our sons on the spectrum, Dhivaan being high functioning, having this insatiable desire to become a Oscar-winning director or scriptwriter at some stage in his life, and our youngest son also being on the spectrum, albeit not as high functioning as Dhivaan. We immediately put our heads together and said we needed to get to a place in the world where there was high sensitivity for kids with special needs, particularly on the autistic spectrum, where there was a great movement within the society to try and provide a better life for them, and where there were educational facilities that were specifically geared for kids with autism.
Woo! Welcome to my crib. Goeiemorgen, which means good morning in Afrikaans. It's Dhivaan here. All the way from South Africa, moved here to the US to get what I have always wanted. And that is a movie.
I did the writing. Can you open it up?
It must be my birthday already.
Yeah, there you go, director. Read all that. Tell me your scene.
Johnny comes home from an exhausting job. Johnny says, Jenny, I'm home. Your man is here for you to call me dear.
Honey, your man is here for you to call dear.
You got to note that in your action, like a tray of cookies, or on the coffee table or something, or somewhere, and he starts eating them. Wait, so she says, "Wait, what are you doing, Johnny? What does it look like?" So she screams out, "Those cookies are for dogs." Okay.
I've made those cookies for the dogs at the pound.
You said you were making chocolate chip cookies.
For the dogs at the pound.
About 4 days after he received this diagnosis, we were able to find a school for him that, was just ideal at the time, the Wits language unit. And they were able to help him in various ways. He was echolalic when he went in. I used to ask him things like, "Dhivaan, do you want a glass of juice?" And he would say, "Do you want a glass of juice?" And I thought, wow, is this ever going to end? And about 4 or 5 months later, I remember asking him one day, "Dhivaan, do you want a glass of juice?" And he said, "Yes, Mom." And I was over the moon about that. And, ever since then, things have just fallen into place nicely. The interventions and the therapies and the schools that he's been at have just been wonderful for him. And he's just come along in leaps and bounds.
Like this way. There you go. And now we're going to hook it on the inside flange. Okay, so what's this called?
C47.
C47. This?
Fusion.
Money. What do we do when we turn it on?
Striking!
Hit it.
Yes.
Dhivaan's interest in storytelling emerged quite early in his life. I remember grade 1. He spent hours in his room on this big. It was a big scrapbook, and from cover to cover, he had drawn scenes for this particular story, and they were quite detailed. The expression on the animals' faces and the action scenes were amazing. Although his writing was very neat, it was slow. So he said, "Mom, you write faster, so you're going to write the story for me." He knew at each point when I needed to turn the page to continue the story on the next page. So the entire story was up in his head. I mean, he just stood there and he narrated to me without, faltering at all. And I was just amazed.
I'm going to lay down. Okay. All right. Wow, yesterday was a long day.
No.
What?
Sit up.
Oh,
You gotta sit up.
Oh, okay.
This obsession and love with writing scripts and drawing the characters appropriate for the script has intensified from this early age of 7 or 8 when he first wrote The Jungle, to the extent that it was one of the big draw cards for Dhivaan to come over to the US. We'd indicated that there was Hollywood and the resources and the access to learning the art of movie making was, the best in the US. To the extent that when he came down here, and it was about 2 or 3 months into school, he had Googled and researched Palm Beach Film School and came to me one day after school and said, "Dad, I'm not learning much about making movies in school, so can't you send me to the Palm Beach Film School?" And I immediately proceeded to contact the executive director, Jim York, who then was phenomenal in trying to customize a program for Dhivaan. They didn't have a program for a 13-year-old.
Start gathering props. We're going to go through your script.
Let's see, construction belt, boots, hard hat.
Wow, holy, so, okay, yeah.
Apron.
Okay, all right, okay, so you get the idea. Very good. A+.
So we were very impressed with Palm Beach Film School because they were able to take Dhivaan on weekends and customize a course for him, and he befriended a phenomenal person who's really become the inspiration to his movie making here, Eldon Lobsinger. And they got on like a house on fire. Dhivaan proceeded to finish his course.
Well, Eldon Lobsinger was He's my teacher in filmmaking. So he's, even in his 50s, he has a sense of humor.
Batter on his face. Hey, F, stop. Stop!
Find this panda and bring him to me.
Oh, you think cooking is easy? I'll tell you something that's easy. Yes! Will you get your mind in the game? Stop. I gotta do an interview. Come on.
When he was about 4 or 5, he used to come in and say, "Grandma, I want to," he'd bring his book to me and he'd say, "Write this down while I'm dictating." And there I used to take this dictation. And he used to be pacing the floor like, as directors do. And then he'll stop and he'll say, lean over my shoulder, look over my shoulder, and he'll say, "Have you written just as I said it? Where is the question mark? Where's the exclamation? Because this is how I said it." So it was fun. It was fun, and I enjoyed every minute. And I think I've been there for him all the way.
Yeah, well, he was given a mega sketcher for one birthday, and he used to spend hours drawing on the mega sketcher, but also getting me to draw, and he would watch everything intently, and he would ask me to draw very often the Walt Disney logo, and there I forget to cross something, and he would clear the mega sketcher and get me to draw things all over again. He was quite obsessive about, making sure everything was perfect, even at a very young age.
Johnny, you were right. Construction work is hard.
Yeah, we're still looking for the name. I think I prefer Piece of Cake because, the movie's about a woman who makes cake, and her husband and her have a fight about which job is easy and which one's hard.
And good luck with building that 2-story building today.
Good luck getting batter off your face.
No problemo. Piece of cake.
Yeah, I think my film is going to be a hit. It's going to be hilarious. They'll call it. Critics of this film is calling Piece of Cake hilarious, funny.
Yeah. Shoot through here.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Pop it.
I'm just showing you.
But you're gonna scream, Johnny! Because I want you to open the door when you come in, and you're gonna open the door and come in. So it's gotta pay off. Yeah. Then when we go inside, I'll have you shoot it. So we'll hook it up. We'll have you look at it there. There's no problem. You're the director. What you say goes.
An interesting movement has happened among people with Asperger syndrome who really don't see it as a disorder, but see it in a positive light, and they call themselves Aspies. And the people who are not diagnosed as being on the spectrum are called neurotypicals. And they really try to point out the positive aspects of themselves, which include their unbelievable creativity sometimes, in their driven focus in their area of interest, which allows them to obtain, some unbelievable heights.
My parents talked to me about Asperger Syndrome 4 years ago, 2008, and I learned that Aspergers don't really play with anyone else. They just play by themselves, but not me. Yeah, I used to play by myself when I was younger, but Now I just play sports now. And I'm starting to get more muscle.
Okay? So you're holding the boom mic and you're holding it towards some actors. That's, wherever they go. Like if I'm talking over here, obviously you're going to raise it higher. And I'm going to be right here. Right? And I'm talking. Then I move over here. You're going to move over here and follow me. Right? Obviously you're not going to be in the shot. But that's the way. And you're trying not to make no noise on there. And make sure the cable doesn't make any noise. Make sure this doesn't hit the ceiling. 12 hours. Can you even handle being on set for 12 hours? You can't, right? You love it, right?
I'll take that as a...
So how'd that last take go?
It was a bit long.
Cut.
Perfect.
Huh?
Perfect. Yeah, my film shoot day was pretty hard, man. It was pretty frustrating for me because, I'm not a very patient guy, to be honest with you, and actually I thought it was the longest day of my life, but just taking a lot of takes. I mean, we keep taking takes, and how can we take a take, Yeah, so I guess that's really important that I learned from Michael. Actually, you just, like in animation, I think they have to say it over and over again until they can get the perfect one. I remember the director of this animated movie Kung Fu Panda 2 say that it took her 3 years to complete the movie, so filmmaking takes a long time. It takes months or years.
The interesting thing about him going through making his first movie was that he realized that he was not cut out to be a movie maker in terms of directing the movie. It's too onerous, it required management of too many people, and he quickly realized after the entire course and said, Dad, I don't think I'm going to make movies, but I'd rather write the scripts for movies.
But I did learn that a movie has to have conflict.
Is not.
It's two.
Is not.
It is two, and I'll prove it to you.
And it needs a resolution to solve that conflict.
Construction work is hard.
Brandy was she was a good actress. She knows how to get angry, and she knows how to get,
My big male cheerleader. I love you for being so goofy.
Rob is pretty funny. Yeah, he's a bit crazy.
Okay, tell us. Okay. Why don't you tell me about your animation story you're writing about?
I've been waiting for that question. Wait, but first I'm just going to get something from my room.
Sure.
Constantly, right now, is drawing a series of animals, African animals. So there's leopards, zebras, tigers, giraffe, and they're all in motion. They all have names, they're all interacting.
And that's Emily in her animal form, the crane.
And that he draws every free second that we have in art. And that I knew was part of a film that he intended to make.
Yeah, my favorite director is Walt Disney himself, because yeah, he makes those great movies for kids, and because of him, then I wouldn't have the idea of having his company make my animated movie.
Dhivaan is unique in that his restricted interest is, the animation and the way he becomes immersed in that, and the knowledge that he has about film and about directing and about creating movies, and his love of that.
In a sense, it was brilliant that he had the experience of learning all the different aspects of making a movie, but clearly I realized that his niche within movie making was his creative mind in terms of writing the appropriate script and being able to draw the characters so close to what was in his mind that he could then communicate that to a potential producer or director.
My dad is very supportive of me, and obviously my mom is, but my mom is a bit strict, but she's just trying to help me. And my dad, well, he hasn't shown me any anger. He's just like, son, stop. Living with my little brother, well, sometimes I get really angry at him, and I kind of shout at him, but when he's happy, then I'm happy. We couldn't get much of those schools for autism in South Africa, so I guess that's one of the reasons. No, actually, that's one of the reasons why my family moved here. Now he's starting to learn a lot now. He even knows how to use YouTube.
Too much.
Are you the paparazzi?
Yes, I am.
My grandma is the nicest grandma anyone could ever have.
If he doesn't see me around, he'll say, "Where is my grandma? Where's my beautiful, intelligent grandma?" And I mean, what else do I need in life, with a child looking for me and saying, and I say, "Beautiful Dhivaan?" He says, "Yes, and intelligent and fun-loving, so, and that's my grandson, Dhivaan. It's really been a pleasure. He's a real gift to me.
My big goal, well, just, what any film director would want it to be a box office hit, to just roar at the box office like Jaden's lion spirit and Kat's tiger spirit, and actually I'd like it to be one of the biggest animated movies. Like all of them, like Shrek and the first and CGI animated movie, Toy Story. No, I'm not done. Also, I'd like it to be the first movie in history to premiere in South Africa. Because actually, the film guys, they never premiered a movie in South Africa, so there's got to be a first.
There are people that are very prominent today that people suspect have these Asperger-like characteristics. And one that's commonly mentioned is Bill Gates, because he has this narrow interest in technology. He sometimes rocks when he's talking. He can be socially aloof. And look at his success. Another one is Mark Zuckerberg, and it has been considered to be very brash in dealing with his associates. And Hans Asperger himself is quoted as saying, those who achieve heights in science and art maybe need a little bit of the spectrum in order to achieve what they've been able to accomplish.
I'm quite sure that there are many children across the world, including the US, who do have a level of unique creativity and innovative thought that, if correctly channeled, that parents can be very pleasantly surprised in terms of these children developing a specific interest and someday excelling in them. And I think part of our duty as parents is to leave no stone unturned, to identify what specific area of interest or talent each particular child has. And conventional IQ testing, as we know, has many shortcomings. And many times children are regarded as odd, eccentric, slow, unintelligent. But I think if one perseveres and finds these specific areas of interest and make every attempt to nurture them, I think the world will be a much better place, a much more exciting place, a more colorful place, and I think we'll have many more children on the autistic spectrum, very productive members of society.
Dhivaan, tell me about this. What's going on here?
There wasn't any conflict. Please.
You don't want to tell. When did you do this one?
When I was very young, so very young.
You didn't want to show that book?
Yeah, I wasn't a really good storyteller.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yes, I think I've got to start somewhere.
All right, let's see what you got over here.
So you like it?
I like it.
You actually like it?
I like these drawings.